Now, let's recap our top story this morning. And President Uhuru Kenyatta left the country for Arusha, Tanzania this morning to attend the 17th Ordinary East African Community Heads of State Summit in Arusha. And we'll be bringing you more details of that Heads of State Summit in Arusha, one that has really brought about criticism, particularly on not having the Burundi crisis as part of their agenda. And right now we want to cross over to our City Center studio, where our parliamentary reporter Patrick Amimo now joins us with updates from the parliament sessions this morning. Patrick Amimo, if you can brief us on what took place this morning.
Thank you, Sharon. Indeed, this morning, members of parliament at the National Assembly discussed a motion to have at least these registration of national IDs decentralized. They want it to be moved away from Nairobi, as is the current practice, and be devolved to the counties, where now, according to the move of the motion, Kiminini lawmaker Chris Wamalwa, he feels that such a move will ensure that issuance of IDs is made faster for those the youth who want to acquire these particular documents, which are so critical, especially when it comes to employment, and now especially with the registration of voters. So it is a matter that members of parliament were this morning engaged in discussing this particular motion, and from the mood of the House, members were supportive of this particular motion, because it will ensure that at least the issues of IDs, national IDs, comply with the Constitution. Now that we have 47 county governments, it will now ensure that this particular document is processed at the county level. The other matter that members of parliament were also seized, were expected to be seized with, was to do with at least also ensuring that those persons with serialized waiting cards that's for the national IDs, but with serialized cards, should also be allowed to register as voters, because according to the mover of this particular motion, that is Ferdinand Wanyonyi, the MP for Kwanza constituency, he says that if you are given that serial card, it bears a number that will eventually end up on your national ID. So he wants these particular persons who have these serialized cards to be allowed to register as voters. You know, the mass voter registration exercise kicked off 2 weeks ago on the 15th of February, and is ongoing until 15th March. And there's worry that if those youth, majority who are holding these cards with serial numbers, if they are not allowed to participate in this particular exercise, they risk being disenfranchised. That's why this motion has been brought in as a matter of urgency, to ensure that to authorize the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to allow such persons holding these serialized cards to register as voters, because currently IEBC is not allowing such persons unless you have a national ID or a passport. That's when they allow you to register as a voter. But now, with this particular motion by MP Ferdinand Wanyonyi, it will, if it's passed, then it will authorize the IEBC to ensure that those voters, the youth want to register as voters, then they can use the serial numbers to register and eventually as voters. And even in future, when you have such an exercise, then anybody will be holding a serialized card will be allowed to register as a voter in future. In the afternoon, we also expect the National Assembly to continue with the debate on one of the constitutional bills, a bill with a constitutional deadline, which is the Community Land Bill. The debate began yesterday, and members are continuing. The second reading is on. The resumption of debate will be this afternoon. This particular Community Land Bill is key in that it is a bill that is also seeks to correct historical land injustices. Remember, in Kenya we have pastoralist communities who claim that they lost part of their land. So this particular bill seeks to protect community land, and it's defined what community land is, and those persons who qualify to be members of that particular community, they'll enjoy this particular land, and they can also have rights to, they'll have a title deed to this particular land, because in the past the practice has been that members of the community, some influential members have conned the communities out of their land unknowingly. But with this particular bill, it seeks to correct such methods of changing the community and also historical injustices. We also, in the bill, there's a provision that public land can also be converted into community land. So it is a bill that initially it had generated some a lot of concerns from other stakeholders, but now before the National Assembly, the input of those particular members will also be looked into and corrected. So in order to ensure that we have this community land bill in place. Remember, this is a bill with a constitutional deadline, so that by this year, August 27th, if it will not have been passed, then there might be consequences in the House, in that maybe someone might go to the High Court and say demand the dissolution of the House. So these are bills that the House has given a lot of priority. Yesterday we saw members move a special motion to allow sittings, so that we have on Thursdays they'll be sitting the whole day. For at least for the next 1 month, we allow members of Parliament sit for at least morning and afternoon sessions on Thursdays and Wednesdays in order to fast track these debate on bills with the constitutional deadlines. Sharon?
Okay. Thank you very much, Patrick Amimo, parliamentary reporter. They are giving us comprehensive details on the matters that have been up for discussion in Parliament. A day that was yesterday, the school feeding day, and just tell us a bit more about this day, Annalisa. What is it meant to achieve and what is it all about?
Good afternoon. Yes, yesterday we celebrated the first African Day of School Feeding Program. It is an important celebration because school feeding, particularly in the African continent, is playing an important role in keeping children in school, in enhancing the enrollment, and in particular to provide them with a nutritious food every day.
Then what was the day supposed to achieve? Were you involved in any capacity building or any awareness creation?
Yes, here in Kenya, we are working very closely with the Ministry of Education. This has been a long-standing collaboration with the Ministry of Education since the 1980s. But it should also be highlighted that Kenya has been a leader in terms of introducing the homegrown school feeding program already back in 2009. And currently there are 1.5 million children in Kenya that they receive on a daily basis a nutritious meal in school.
Tell us more about the homegrown aspect about the school feeding program, because there has been a lot of campaign to promote the school feeding program. What are the benefits of it?
There are multiple benefits. First of all, with a school meal going on at school, parents will send their children to school. So the enrollment, the attendance rates, both are going to increase. And there will be more children that can complete primary school, at least primary school. Then the other benefit, as I said, is that particularly among poor and food insecure households, children will have every day a nutritious meal going to school. And overall, the school feeding program is playing the role of a safety net, particularly in areas that are prone to drought, to shocks, or where the level of poverty and the food insecurity is very high.
And then is this a program that is in play both in private and public schools? And what is your target in terms of promoting this program?
This program has also a number of economic benefits, particularly the homegrown school feeding program, because the food is procured from within the community, from within the county, and therefore, on the one hand, it allows children, particularly poor and vulnerable children, to receive the meal every day. But at the same time, because the food commodities are procured from within the area where the school is located, that will also have important benefits on the economy of that area.
Mm-hmm. And maybe lastly, maybe you could tell us, have there been any challenges in the rollout of this program?
Well, there are always challenges, but I must say that the very strong collaboration that the WFP has been enjoying over the years with the Ministry of Education has allowed us to identify solutions to those challenges. And over time, I'm sure that as WFP is transitioning the schools and the children in those schools to the government program, this will get better, and the WFP stand to be a partner of the government and the Ministry of Education to ensure that future challenges can be addressed.
And there are areas that are particularly hit with famine and drought, and then the schools therefore have the challenge of having children coming there because of that hunger issues. Are these some of the areas that you target, and are you working, you mentioned that you're working hand in hand with the education sector here in Kenya. Are you reaching out to some of these hard hit areas?
Yes, so we are working with the Ministry of Education, but correctly so, we are targeting the arid and the semi-arid counties, where indeed the food security, poverty and vulnerability are particularly challenging.
Thank you very much. We are speaking to Annalisa Kont there, who is the country director of the World Food Program, just talking to us about the school feeding program, a day that was recognized yesterday, the first of its kind in Africa. Moving on now to some unfortunate news, and pupils at a school in Isiolo are being forced, I'll just take that again, pupils at a school in Isiolo are being forced to go to school without to take classes outside after strong winds destroyed their classrooms. The school administration of MCK Kisima 78 Primary School is now appealing to the government to intervene and make the learning environment conducive.
Students at MCK Kisima 78 Primary School in Isiolo have been forced to continue with their pursuit of education outside after strong winds blew the roofs of 3 classrooms.
Wanafunzi wengine walikuwa wamejikinga mvua pale kwa ukuta. Sasa mara moja upepo ukazindi, tukaona vile miti imeendelea kuyumba, watoto wengine wakakimbia kwa madrasa wengine pande, wakatoka pande kwa sababu upepo ulikuwa mkali sana.
The harsh winds have thrown the school's program into disarray as textbooks, teachers' guides and exercise books were destroyed following the rain that was accompanied by strong winds. Pupils were forced to run and take shelter in the neighboring classrooms. No student suffered any injuries.
The same last term tuliona maneno makali kama hayo tena, paa tena ikaenda na upepo. Na hatujui sasa ni nini, hatujui ni nini ilifanya hiyo paa yetu iende.
The school head teacher is now making an appeal to the government, area leaders and well-wishers to help the school ensure normal learning resumes. Till then, these nursery, class 1 and class 2 pupils will have to brave harsh conditions and unpredictable weather. Trix Ingado, KTN News.